As usual, blessed Sunday, everyone. Blessed Sunday. Hi, beautiful. Hey. So, guys, as you come in, I don't know whether I should have also like a Sunday something like maybe when we do Sundays, maybe a way in which we introduce ourselves, because today I don't want people to tell us where they're watching us from. Maybe on Sundays, maybe people can just say, like, before I start the class, just tell me how your week has been. You know, how the past week has been. This is the first day of this new week. How was your past week? How are things going for you guys? You know, how are you guys feeling about the state of the world? Can you just touch a little bit about what you think about the eclipse? I will touch a little bit about what I think about the eclipse. But then, you know, just tell me how are you doing? How are you guys doing? My week has been painful and unhappy. Just say the truth. Nanyesha too, okay. Just say the truth. Say the truth about what you've been feeling, literally, during this point in time. Swiri, you're so beautiful. Thank you so much. Fasting, okay. That is a very beautiful thing to do right now in this particular point in time. Fasting is a beautiful thing to do on your period. Okay, people are bleeding with the full moon. You know, we are headed to the full moon. Unmotivated, been on my blood, tired. Okay, let's just say the truth. Let's say the truth. Nervous, waiting for Monday. I love you, woman. I love you guys too. Can I move in with you? You are forcing me. Okay. Yes, you can. Irritable and motivated. Guys, just tell the truth, because right now, what we are feeling astrologically, everybody's feeling it. One thing I'll tell you about the astrological weather is that you cannot pretend. We are so interconnected at the quantum level, so much that what you're feeling over there literally is being felt across. So this particular point in time, everybody's feeling the heaviness, everybody's feeling the weight. Literally, we all know that something is supposed to be happening. We all know that something is supposed to be happening, but it is not happening. So literally, we cannot pretend about that. You can't pretend that, oh, but then I'm just feeling okay. I'm just feeling. We know that there is a weight that is happening. And today, during our Bible study, I'm going to explain to you some of the things that make us get to a point where we feel the way we feel right now as a collective. The delay, the fruits of delay, spiritual delay. We have people who are intentionally delaying spiritual occurrences. We have people who are intentionally delaying spiritual occurrences so that things don't happen, things that need to happen so that the collective can move towards a certain direction. They are making sure that these things don't happen. How do they do it? By pretending. You know, we have leaders, currently we have leaders who they are taught, the UN people, they are taught to pretend it is not happening. Did you see the earthquake that happened in New York yesterday? Literally, it was happening during a UN meeting, and when the earthquake was happening, the UN officials were continuing their meeting as if nothing is happening, and that is what they do. That is what they do. These elite, you call them elite workers. I would call them elite workers, because right now, if the way the president of Kenya has said, the entire world is being controlled prevent an ejaculation that is due. The ejaculation is due. Everybody can feel it on their own personal level. In your own personal life, you can already feel that we are done. Puppets, that world where the public attention was being used anyhow by children who don't understand, who don't comprehend astrology. It is over. But then we're at this particular point where we're like, what now? What now? What now? Somebody, don't rush me to talk about the eclipse. I am talking about sun. We are talking about memory and intuition. Literally, when you see that the moon is coming to cover the sun like this, just know that intuition is coming to cover memory like this. So much that we're getting to a point where now intuition is going to rule for a particular period of time. So that is what the eclipse is about. It has been, eclipses happen all the time. They happen after years. And people who are not always, right now, this eclipse is getting a lot of attention because people are awake. Literally in 2017, you would have talked about the eclipse, nobody would have listened to you. So right now you're giving it too much attention because people are awake and they're like, oh, even look at when Putin. Putin has revealed to the public that Jesus is black. This is not the first time that he's doing it. He's been doing it for years. But why is it catching attention right now? Things are catching attention right now because people are awake. This is what the spiritual community talks about. When you don't know about people waking up, when people are awake, when you tell them certain information, it sticks. Right now, Putin says, Russian says, Jesus is black. And everybody's like, oh my God, Jesus is black. But this is not the first time they've said it. It has been said years and years and years. Even before Gaddafi was dead, it was said, but black people were asleep. Their bearing was somewhere else. So when you told them this, they would be like, and then the mainstream media would come with their choir and put other things in front so that people cannot see the truth that is being said. But right now, people are focusing mostly on astrological placements and astrological weather because a lot of people are being awake. And so we are getting to that point where now we are starting to time keep as a collective. Yeah, no one cared before. Right now, this news, people think that, oh my God, how come Putin has released? That is such a huge news. It has been said. Years and years and years for years, that thing has been said, but nobody was paying attention to it. Why? Because of the mainstream media orchestration, people being in church and people having their eyes closed, people being in low vibrational states. Right now, it is only catching water because people are awake. And when you wake up, my friends, because I know a lot of people who listen to me here are awake. When you wake up, the first thing you need to know are the treacherous treaties, the treacherous religious books that are there, that we are still using in our churches, but we don't know where it is coming from and where it is going. Okay? When you hear about an eclipse, we have solar eclipse, we have lunar eclipse. When you hear about an eclipse, it is a representation of the sun and the moon. Memory and intuition. There is a time where people who carry intuition, you carry intuition to a point where now memory has to come and justify it. There are times you carry memory so much that intuition now has to come and justify it. So literally when you hear about the eclipses, the astrologers from the West will tell you that, it is a time when the sun, when the moon covers the sun, so the earth will not receive light, whatever. That is the physical explanation of it. But when you want to look at the spiritual explanation of it, when you see them mentioning the sun, replace it with memory. When you see them mentioning the moon, replace it with intuition, and then you will know what is going on. You will know what is going on. You've lost me. I'm sorry that I've lost you. You will get it when you're meant to get it, okay? You will get it when you're meant to get it. If you are not at a vibrational level where you can grasp what I'm talking about, I'm sorry. But you will get it when you're meant to get it. They delayed the Powerball drawing. Now, I don't know what the Powerball drawing is, but today I want to teach you guys the biblical, why we have delays, why biblical prophecies are no longer being received the way they used to be received in the past. Why are we living in a time where literally there is no biblical happenings? There are. Biblical happenings are occurring. They are constantly occurring. But we have leaders who have been taught to give zero attention to it. We have leaders who know that before news is shown in the mainstream media, nobody will believe it. So we are literally living in a world where leaders have been told, shut up, don't prove it, pretend it does not exist. And this is even the Hollywood celebrities, this is how they live. Pretending it doesn't exist. When you pretend something doesn't exist, you're taking power from it. You're taking your attention away from it. Your attention has the power of life and death. Where your attention goes, grows. Where your attention doesn't go, shrink. And these people, you know, when we are dealing with the elites, when we are dealing with people who have turned the world upside down, know that they are not stupid. They're very spiritually aware. They are very spiritually aware. So these people know, they know the power of their attention. They know that as long, even if the public is shouting, even if the whole world starts shouting that Obama's boyfriend is a man, they know that as long as Obama's boyfriend does not come out and say it, that, oh, by the way, I'm a man, then people will still keep fighting in the collective and in the public. And that is what they feed off of. They love it when you come and fight each other. You come and fight each other while them they keep quiet and pretend like it is not happening. The one rule of signing the non-disclosure agreement, one rule of being in Hollywood, one rule of working for the elites that have turned the world upside down is always pretend it is not happening. Don't give it your attention, because where your attention goes, grows. Where your attention doesn't go, shrink. But then we are at this point in time where the world is also doing the universe. You know that Earth is like a vagina. Earth is like a vagina. Okay? Earth is like a vagina. Earth self-cleanses. Earth reaches a particular point in time where if there's too much dirt, if there's too much inorganic, if there's too much unnatural, if there's too much artificial, then the planet self-cleanses. It removes by itself. Yeah, Earth is very self-cleansing. You don't have to worry about Earth. If it reaches a point where it needs to self-cleanse, it will self-cleanse. Now, this treachery, this trick, or whatever this is, of causing delay in the collective. Remember, guys, and I will start by my Bible study. Remember that when we start talking about the Old Testament is not where the Bible starts. I want you to comprehend that the Old Testament is not where the Bible starts. The Old Testament, the first word in the Old Testament is in the beginning, but it is supposed to be in a beginning, in another beginning. The world runs like the alphabet. The alphabet runs from letter 1 to letter 24, to letter 25, of which 24 is the completion of the cycle, and then the first one is the 25th dynasty. I want you to listen to me properly, because this will answer a lot of your questions. Now, when you look at our planet, for us to finish a whole cycle, we are supposed to go from the 1st century to the 24th century. Guys, I want you to listen. We are supposed to go from the 1st century to the 24th century. We're supposed to go from the letter A to the very last letter in the alphabet. Okay? And so, when we are going through these particular cycles, these are the 24 cycles that represent different eras, different ages. We have the silver age, we have the dark ages, we have the silver ages, we have the bronze age, and then we have the golden age. Now, for you to move from the dark age to the golden age, we finish 24 different centuries. And this life, it comes with a manual. The moment you finish the first 12 centuries above, 12 centuries in the northern hemisphere, and then 12 centuries in the southern hemisphere. Now, this life comes with a manual, okay? This life, it comes with a manual. We have a book. It's called the book of what? The book of this guy. Why is the name not coming? Let me see. There's a book that comes before. The name is just disappearing right now. So let me just. Yeah, the book of Enoch. Guys, yes, Enoch. I have students who even know. The book of Enoch comes before Genesis. A lot of people, when you go to church, you think the Bible starts at Genesis. The Bible does not start at Genesis. Actually, Genesis now is That is where we start repentance. You see, in ancient Kemet, we had the sun, whichever the sun moves in the 12 hours above and 12 hours below. Now, this 12 hours below, the book of Enoch ends at the 12 hours below. Okay? Remember, when you go to sleep you in the dark, and then you wake up in the light. Now, Genesis is the light. Genesis is the light manual. It is a manual for people who are living by the light. And then there is an entire manual for people living in the world moves in a circular form. We don't have a linear world. So from the morning, let me use mornings because the Europeans have tampered with the timeline so much that when I say 1, people in America will think I'm saying 7. When I say 7, people in Africa will think I'm saying 1. So let me say, the day starts from morning, and then we have afternoon, and then we have evening. And then from evening, we have night, and then we have dawn. Now, the book of Genesis is from the book of Genesis, this Old Testament that we are talking about. It is a manual to help you live life above. It is a manual to help you live life as a spirit that has been reborn. It is a manual that help you live life, your life that is temporary. Like, for example, me, Swiri Nyar, I was born, okay? I was born, but before I was born, something was happening. Guys, keep listening. Before I was born, before you were born, you came from another dimension. So the book of Enoch talks about that dimension that you come from that leads you into Genesis. I want you to listen. Genesis is the book of the matriarchs and the patriarchs. It talks about genes. The same way you would say metamorphosis, you will say Genesis. Genesis, the starts of genes, of the matriarchs and the patriarchs genes. Now, the book of Enoch talks about your life. Remember, the Bible talks about you as an individual. It does not talk about a group work. The Bible talks about you as an individual. So now, the book of Enoch starts talking to you about your life before you come here. Okay, so that Genesis starts talking to you about your life after you come here. I hope somebody is comprehending what I'm saying. Because now the book of Enoch is what will tell you whether you've come from heaven into earth or you've come from hell into earth. Because those matters. Okay? Those matters. When you come from hell into earth, what you will experience on this particular dimension is the flood. At the end of the day, you're going to reach a point where emotions are too much. You cannot swim. And you will exit. Now, when you come from heaven, from heavenly realms, into this particular dimension, you come for the eternal life. So, guys, when you're reading the Bible, also know it is not speaking to one individual. It is speaking to different dimensions of people. And you must comprehend your own dimension from the book of Enoch. Now, when we are done with the book of Enoch, okay, the book that is talking about the angels, that impregnated the women on earth and had kids. It's all metaphorics. It's all metaphoric. But today I don't want to get so deep into it because I've already lost people by just explaining this up like this. But I will come back and I will explain it deeper as we go. I will not overfeed you. I will give you small as we go. So know that the book of Enoch is speaking about where we come from. It is speaking about where we come from before we get into this dimension. Now that we are in this dimension, if you don't comprehend the book of Enoch, when we are in this dimension, now we are talking about the Genesis. That is where we start. That is where we start. And I'm going to read for you this thing, something here that I wrote that I'm going to explain as we go. So that you know what is happening, what was done, and why we live the way we live. Now, first of all, when you are looking at the arrangement of the Bible, guys, I don't know which arrangement of the Bible you look at, but we have two main arrangements. We have the Hebrew Bible, the arrangement of the Bible according to the Hebrews, which is the original arrangement. And then we have the arrangement of the Bible according to the colonizers, to the UK, according to the England, according to the Vatican. Now, when you look at these two arrangements of the Bible, guys, this is where the cheat code is. Hebrews, they arranged their Bible in a very simple way. The Hebrews, they arranged their Bible in a very simple way. And I will show you right here. Okay? The arrangement of the Hebrews Bible started with Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. Okay, those are the laws of Moses. Moses is the brain. Moses is the brain. When you're reading the Bible and there is a place called Moses, remove that Moses and put it with your brain. It is talking about your brain. The Bible is talking about your brain. So now, the laws of Moses, the laws of the brain, these are the laws of the brain. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. And then after Deuteronomy, you go to the prophets. This is the Hebrew arrangement. Remember, we have the Vatican arrangement, which is wrong and misleading and causing delay in the collective. The Vatican have arranged their Bible in a way that there is no prophecy will be given attention. They've arranged the Bible in such a way that people keep waiting in a loop. You finish, you are waiting for another Messiah. That Messiah does not come. They put their own people. You start the cycle again. And I will show you how they've done it. Now, from the laws of Moses, the laws of the brain, we go to the prophets. Prophets, we have Joshua, Judges, 1st and 2nd Samuel, 1st and 2nd Kings. Remember, those are the former prophets. And then we have the latter prophets, which is Isaiah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, and the 12. And then the writings. The Old Testament is very simple. The original Old Testament is very simple. Divided into 3 parts. The laws of the brain, the prophets, still of the brain, and the writings of the brain. Now, the writings, we have Psalms. We have Job, the pre-exilic writings. Writings that were written before exile. Before exile in Egypt by the Israelites. That's why Psalms, Jobs, Proverbs, Ruth, Songs of Songs, and Ecclesiastes. And then after exile, we also have writings that were written, which were Lamentations, Esther, Daniel, Ezra, Nehemiah, and 1st and 2nd Chronicles. Now listen. Guys, if you can look, if you have another phone, you can check this thing. Proof check with me. Check the arrangement of the Hebrew Bibles. And then check the arrangement of the English Bible. Now listen, look at the English Bible. In the Hebrew Bible, first of all, let me tell you. In the Hebrew Bible, we have Genesis as the beginning, and then we have 1st and 2nd Chronicles as the end. The 1st Chronicle talks about David. The 2nd Chronicles talks about Solomon. And they finish it with the genealogy as they wait for a new prophet to come. Literally fulfillment of prophecy. But since the Vatican got in control of the Bible, look at what they did. Look at what they did. They started their arrangement with Genesis, of course, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. But then, after 1st and 2nd Kings, they placed Chronicles. Guys, after 1st and 2nd Kings, they placed 1st and 2nd Chronicles. Chronicles does not belong after Kings. This arrangement, because this is the astrological weather of the world. When they arrange the Bible like this, they are putting us in a continuous loop. The Old Testament arrangement of the Vatican ends with Malachi. It ends with Malachi. 0 genealogy, meaning from Malachi, when you move from Malachi, you go to Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. You are repeating their own story. Guys, if you don't get what I'm saying, I will be repeating it for the rest of my life. You will get it with time. But for now, know that we are running on an astrological weather that is not meant to expand. We are running on an astrological weather of a snake biting its tail. We get to a point where a snake bites its tail and then we start again. And then we go, a snake bites its tail, then we start again. And then we go, a snake bites its tail, and then we start again. This is the reason why, since the generations of our own ancestors, we've never seen biblical happenings. We don't see biblical happenings because the way our astrological weather has currently been arranged, it has been arranged in a way that we don't get the biblical happening. They remove it. It's like we are seated here waiting for Jesus to come back, but they kill Jesus Before that, Jesus comes back. So the humanity is busy waiting for Jesus to come back. You are waiting for Jesus to come back. You are waiting for something that was already killed in the books, that was already killed in the Bible. So it does not happen. It reaches a point, they put it in a way that we reach a point where Jesus is supposed to come, world war. We reach a point where Jesus is supposed to come, world war, and then we go back to them ruling us. And this has been happening since the time of the Greeks. Greeks camouflaged into Romans. Romans camouflaged into the Vatican. And we're still dealing with the same cycles up to today. And in the process, they add their own. They add their own. They don't even care where Jeremiah is. They just place Nehemiah, Tobit. They've added their own Tobit, their Obadiah. I don't know, Micah, Nahum, Habakkuk. They've added their own things in the Bible. The Bible was very simple, guys. And it still is. And today I want to tell you that you don't need the church in order for the Bible to work in your life. The Bible is supposed to be divided into 3 simple parts. And it is still there in the Hebrew Bible, where we start with Genesis, we go to Exodus, we go to Leviticus, we go to Numbers, we go to Deuteronomy. This is talking about the laws. These are the laws. These are the human laws. These are like literally the Ark of the Covenant. These are the international laws. These are the global rules for everyone. And then from there we go to former prophets and then latter prophets. Then we go to pre-elixic writing and then post-elixic writing. You're done. And then you start a cycle with a new Jesus. But guess what? The Vatican made sure that they removed the part where Jesus comes in, replace it with war, so that when Jesus is about to come, we enter into war. And then when the war is done, everybody's devastated, everybody's frustrated, everybody's shattered and scattered everywhere. The Vatican starts. They come again, they start, and then they go again to the war. And then we start again. That is what has been happening. And this year, and in our lifetime, this is the cycle that our ancestors dealt with, our mothers dealt with, and now we are dealing with it in our lifetime. Right now, it's either Jesus comes or war. It's either Jesus comes, which is the day, Jesus is the day, my students, the day where we experience flourishment, where we experience a change, where we experience heavenly fairness. Now, Jesus is either Jesus comes or we go into war. And you can see we are wiggling there in the middle already. It's either we will repeat the cycles that our ancestors repeated, or we are getting into we are the generation that is going to get into a new cycle and go. We are the generation that is going to get into a new cycle and go. Yes, Jesus is the day. Jesus is the day. Father is the body. And Holy Spirit is the great year. People who follow me, my students, you know about this. You know about this. So, I hope somebody's comprehending. I hope somebody's comprehending. Our grandfathers waited for Jesus. It did not come back. Do you know what they got? World War. World War I. Again, they waited for Jesus again. Do you know what they got? World War II. They waited for Jesus again. Do you know what they got? The Cold War. We are now waiting for Jesus. If we don't get Jesus, do you know what we are going to get? World war that is going to shatter everybody. You're going to go back to 0 shillings. You're going to go back to the villages, everything destroyed, buildings destroyed. You've seen already Palestine the way it is. So if we don't want to fall into that cycle again, because that cycle is predictable, you can already tell, we fall back into war. What you've built up to this particular point, because before war we are building. Me, I am building something. You are building something. Somebody else is building something somewhere. And as we continue to build, we are going to continue to build until we get to a point where now, as long as we are doing it for the good of all, and with harm to none, we are bound to get to a point where now we tap into the Jesus. Into the Jesus frequency. But the people who rule the world, I'd rather we go to war. They're like, I'd rather we go to war than the collective tapping into their power. I'd rather we go to war and destroy everything so that we start over again with us as the leaders. We thought the Greek fell, but the Greeks, they started over again as the Romans. We thought the Romans fell, but the Romans, they started again as the Vatican. Now, is the Vatican going to fall? Is the Vatican going to fall? Because if the Vatican does not fall, they are going to start again as something else. And we are the generation that will make sure that happens or not. So let me continue. Up to that particular point, go look at the arrangement of the Bible. The writings are always on the walls. There are 2 arrangements of the Bible that we have. Old Testament to be specific. The Hebrews have their own, which the Hebrew arrangement of the Bible is the correct arrangement of the Bible. It's supposed to be very simple. You are born in Genesis. Let me put it here. You are born in Genesis. Exodus, you move away from slavery. Leviticus, you perform your rituals. Then you get into the wilderness, you're led by Numbers. After being led by Numbers, you get to a point where now it is Deuteronomy. You come into the oneness and recognize who the leader is. And then in this particular, the laws, the prophets, they refer to the laws. The prophet, they refer to the laws, and then the writings, they refer to the laws. Now, let me read for you some particular Bible here. Now, we have the Hebrew Bible in its Judaism foundational text. The word Tanakh, Tanakh, is an acronym of its 3 parts. The Bible is divided into 3 parts. Torah, which is the 5 books of Moses, the 5 books of the brain. The Bible talks about human anatomy. The Bible is not talking about people. The Bible is talking about human anatomy. And this story of human anatomy, it is speaking about 2 important people, the brain and the body, Moses and Israelites. I hope somebody is getting what I'm saying. The Israelites are yourselves. I always talk to you here. I tell you that yourselves are always listening to the hypothalamus. If they don't get instructions from the hypothalamus, your body cannot communicate. Israelites, if they don't get instructions from Moses, there is nothing that will go on. Okay? So, it is the hypothalamus that is sending information to the cells of your body to maintain a state of homeostasis. It is Moses that is sending information to the Israelites to ensure they maintain a state of homeostasis. That is the story of the Bible. Don't think that, by the way, we are the original Israelites or whatever. Anybody on this particular planet that is building their avatar is an Israelite. Anybody on this particular planet that is aligned with the cosmic rhythm and is building their avatar with the God, the body, God, the day, and God, the great year is an Israelite. Anybody that is on this particular planet that is not building their body, now those are the enemies of the Israelites, like the Amalekites. People who do not want the best for themselves are the enemies of the Israelites. Israelites are people who want the best for themselves. People who don't want the best for themselves are the enemies of the Israelites. So when we are talking about the story of the Bible, switch if you want to get the best out of it. But if you are somebody who you are just Yahweh Kode, you are just part of the bandwagon, you don't care about ascension, you don't care about spiritual ascension, then you can read the Bible the way you've been reading it, the way your ancestors have been reading it, the way your ancestors that were colonized have been reading it. But if you want to gain out of this book, turn it upside down. Now I will continue. Torah, the 5 books of Moses. Nevi'im, prophets. And then we have Ketuvim, which are the writings. It contains stories, law, poetry, and teachings about God and humanity. The Bible is there to teach about God and humanity from an individual level. The Bible is categorized into the laws, the prophecies, and the writings. 3. Okay? The laws include Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. The prophets include Joshua, whatever. You know the prophets. Those ones are not so much important to me. Psalm is the Psalms, that book that represents the whole. Psalm is usually Psalms. This Psalms that you read, Psalms. It is a representation of the whole, a tiny representation of the whole. It's like Psalms is a sample for the writings. The writings include Psalms, Job, Proverbs, Ruth, Songs of Ecclesiastes, Lamentations, Esther, Daniel, Ezra, Nehemiah. And then the last ones are the 1st and 2nd Chronicles. Chronicles should be the last book in the Old Testament. If you have a Bible that does not have Chronicle as the last book, you have a witchcraft weapon that is fashioned against you. Now, I will continue. There are some differences regarding the order of writings, but the order that divides them into pre-exilic and post-exilic writings makes sense. This is the Hebrew order. The Hebrew order connects parts of the Old Testament, both the prophets and the writings, back into the laws of Moses. You know, the Hebrews, they connect the writings and the prophets back into the laws of Moses. The writings and the prophets are there to trace back to the law of Moses. But when you look at the English arrangement, they are not tracing back. They are literally just cooking and guessing their own things and putting them there as inclusions in the Bibles. The writings begin with Psalms, which also points back to the law. Further, both the law and the prophets conclude by looking forward to a new prophet. Both the law and the prophets conclude by looking forward to a new prophet. The law ends with Deuteronomy, which looks forward to a new prophet, and the prophets end with Malachi, which also looks to a new prophet. Now, the Hebrew order connects the Old Testament. The English order oddly places 1st and 2nd Chronicles immediately after similar book of 1st and 2nd Kings. They just placed it there oddly. They just placed it there oddly in order to tamper with the natural flow of the astrological weather. Okay, so I'm going to read to you the first laws of Moses. I'm just going to explain to you what goes on. I'm here to help people who read the Bible, actually. People who actually read the Bible. The Bible must be read and understood with an assert. Yes, whatever. So in the Bible, in the Old Testament, remember the Bible does not start with the Genesis. The book of Genesis does not start in the beginning. When you say in the beginning, it tells you that, there is never another beginning. We are starting this beginning now. The world has existed for millions of years. We always have endings and beginnings. So this is the reason why Genesis, in its original translation, says in a beginning. Not in the beginning. In a beginning. When you say in the beginning, meaning there was never another beginning until that one, which is false. So Genesis should always be read by in a beginning. When you say in a beginning, God created so and so, then it shows you that there's many other beginnings that have existed, and this one is just one of them. So now Genesis, the book of Genesis, comes after. This book, there's a book that guides you on the life after death. And then there's a book that guides you on the life after birth. There's life after death, and then there's life after birth. This Genesis that we talk about is life after birth. Books like the book of Enoch is life in death, like literally life in death, when you are in another dimension. That is what Enoch talks about. Now, Genesis talks about creation, a beginning, which is and stories of patriarchs and matriarchs. Genesis is a book that talks to you. Remember, the Bible is talking about human anatomy. Some people, you think the Bible is talking about you and your grandparents or whatever. The Bible is talking about human anatomy. Human anatomy. Now, Genesis is the one that is going to talk to you about the creation story. Genesis is the one that is going to tell you that, okay, in order to build your avatar, the first day you must do this. Second day you must do this. Third day you must do this. Fourth day, Genesis is teaching you how to create your avatar. And it is also telling you what was there in this particular beginning. In a beginning, every child is born dark. And by dark, I mean feminine. Every child, darkness represents femininity. So every child is born feminine. And then as they continue to become they narrow down. If it's supposed to be a boy, it becomes a boy. If it's supposed to be a girl, it becomes a girl. But from the beginning, we all come from the darkness. And the writings are always on the walls. Children are not born with brains. Children are born when the brain is totally empty and the heart is totally full. So as they grow up, the heart becomes younger and the brains become older. Okay, listen to that properly. You can go and Google and whatever. I know some people, you are coming across this information for the first time. But the writings are always on the wall. In the beginning, the world was dark until God said, let there be light, and there was light. In the beginning, the world was black people, African, until God said, let there be albedo, let there be the children of Nephthys, and there were children of Nephthys. In the beginning, the world was dark. Darkness is representative of feminine, of mother. So in the beginning, the world is all feminine and black. Until God says, let there be light, and there were light. So this is the thing that Genesis talks to you about. Genesis tells you the origin, the patriarchs and the matriarchs, which is the story of the Bantus and the Nilotes. We just have a Bible right now that has been updated to suit the albedos. But if we were reading this Bible back in time, before the presence of the Greeks in Africa, then you would know that Genesis is talking about the Bantus and the Nilotes. It is talking about the original matriarchs and the patriarchs. It's talking about the genes. Now, Genesis talks to you about your story. Now, I want to take one person. For example, now let me use somebody's name, Wadek. Wadek was born into a family. Now, Genesis is talking about the genes of Wadek. Wadek is born into a particular ancestral line, into a particular bloodline, into a particular lineage. And so Genesis is there to talk to you about this lineage that you are born into. The matriarchs and the patriarchs of your own individual story. The genes, the electrons, the atoms that form up your own individual body. When you move from Genesis, you go to Leviticus. Okay? No, you don't go to Leviticus. You go to Exodus, right? When you move from Genesis, you go to Exodus. Guys, I want you to listen properly. When you are born, like Wadek that I was talking about, Wadek exactly in Africa, yes. Now Wadek has already been born into his family. Wadek is now living with his uncles, aunts, and siblings, and mother and father. Wadek being born into this particular family does not mean that Wadek is of that family. So Genesis will tell you that literally your family is a gift. They gift you the genes. They gift you the ancestral pathways, ancestors that existed before you. You come into contact with them through your family. Exodus comes at the age of 12. Wadek is already been born. Wadek has grown up from age 1 up to 12. During age 1 up to 12, Wadek has literally absorbed everything from his family. Maybe he was born into a family of pastors. So Wadek is growing up as a pastor. Believing that pastor is everything. Maybe Wadek is born into a family of Muslims. Wadek is growing up as a Muslim. Maybe Wadek is born into a family of elites, people who have a lot of abundance. So he's growing up as that. When Wadek reaches the age of 12, Wadek starts to see the difference, the contrast, the clear juxtaposition between him and the family. This is where Wadek now becomes of the planet and not of the family, of their family. And so Exodus comes in. Exodus, Israelites enslavement in Egypt. Exodus talks about Israelites enslavement in Egypt. From age 1 up to age 12, Wadek has been enslaved in Egypt. When you read the Bible, Moses is talking about the brain. Israelites is talking about the cells. Egypt is your family where you're born into. The family that you're born into is like a bus. It is like a bus that drops you to earth. And then after the age of 13, you are supposed to specialize or move away from them. Because you have your own role and your own ancestral path here to fulfill. Now, Exodus talks about the Israelites' enslavement in Egypt, which is Wadek's enslavement in his family. Your own cells, when they come here, they don't know how to think on their own. Moses is born empty, guys. When a child is being born, the brain is empty. The brain does not get born with anything. The brain gets born empty and young and immature, and it grows as the child grows. But guess what is born fully there, fully functional? The heart. The heart of a child comes here old, the age of an ancestor. The person who is saying lie, you don't read. Go read it even right now. Google it. Okay, Google it. You make Google your friend. The brain is born empty. The heart is born full. Memory, a child is born with zero memory, but with full intuition. That is what I mean. So scientifically, when you look into the pregnancy process, the development of the fetus, you will realize that the brain of the fetus is born with a brain that is empty, but a heart that is full. And then as they grow up, the heart grows younger. The heart grows younger and the brain grows older. Moses grows older while your heart grows younger. As a child, it is a fact. I've read it. I studied microbiology. This is information that I've come into contact with so many times. People who are hearing it for the first time, go read. Okay, go read. So, the Israelites' enslavement in Egypt. Israelites, they get enslaved in Egypt. Guys, gift. So, the Israelites, they get enslaved in Egypt. And then there's the miraculous redemption. From the ages 1 up to age 12, you are in Egypt. You are in Egypt from age 1 up to age 12. From age 12, let me say from age 13, it goes the way the day goes. The day goes from hour 1 up to hour 12. The day is ended. Now from hour 13 up to hour 24, we are starting the night. It's the same way your body goes. Your body from year 1 up to year 12, you are in Egypt. You do what your parents are saying. You think what your parents think. Everything that the people around you do, that is what you do. Your environment is you. But you have not chosen it. Now, from the ages 13 up to age 24, redemption. Miraculous redemption. That is when you see kids start having pimples. Pimples, big pimples. When you find a child that has big pimples, know that they are really working hard to separate themselves from Egypt. Kids who work hard the most to separate themselves from the indoctrination of their parents get the most pimples. Now, kids who do not have, whose parents did not do so much for shadow work, like did not give them too much shadow work to do, kids who their life path and their parents' life path is almost the same, those ones, they don't get pimples because they have nothing to separate themselves from. But children who have a lot to separate themselves from, as far as where they were born is concerned, have a lot of pimples, because pimples is the physical manifestation of the push and pull of the things that you're killing in yourself. Maybe you were born into a family of thieves and you've grown up and you've said, I don't want to become a thief. So that separation, you separating yourself from that, is what causes pimples on your face. Okay, and Exodus is talking about now this X. You leaving your excess behind. Genetic excess. Exodus is talking about genetic excess. Excess that are in your genes that you must leave behind and separate yourself from. Okay? And when you separate yourself from this excess, that is when you build the tabernacle. Your ability to separate yourself from this excess by the age of 24 gives you the ability to build your tabernacle. Your spiritual tabernacle. Place of worship. It helps you to have your laws and say that, okay, I was born in a family of ritualists and in a family of witches, but I don't want to become that. So these are my laws. These are the laws I was born with, but these are my laws. So that is what Exodus is talking about. Exodus is talking about Israel leaving Egypt. How does the Israelites leave Egypt? Moses parts the Red Sea. Moses parts the Red Sea. The meaning of Moses parting the Red Sea is literally your brain giving you that leeway. You know, people who are spiritual, you know times when your brain has saved you. Your brain giving you a path to go through when there was no path. Your brain making sure that there is a way where nobody else is seeing a way. That particular phenomenon is the phenomenon of Moses taking Israelites out of Egypt. Let my people go. Let my people go. Moses, your hypothalamus taking your cells away from indoctrination of your lineage so that you become a new individual that can be used by your ancestors to fulfill what they brought you here for. This is a path that everybody follows. Everyone follows this path. Guys, this is the interconnectedness that we have. This is the quantum entanglement that we have. Everyone who is born into a family has to reach a point where they exodus. Because literally your family, you can be born into a family of people of capitalists, of murderers. And you don't want to be that. You have to get to a point where you separate yourself. You can be born into a family of poverty, a family of diseases. But you don't want to be that. You must separate yourself the same way Israelites left Egypt and went into the wilderness. Guess what? Israelites leave Egypt and they go into the wilderness. They don't go into Canaan. A lot of people, you lack patience in life because you think you leave Egypt into Canaan direct. No. In fact, Canaan does not exist. Canaan is, you build Canaan when you are in the wilderness, and brings us to the second second point, to the third Bible verse, Leviticus. I've talked about Genesis, I've talked about Exodus, now I'm talking about Leviticus. Guys, when you leave your family, when you separate yourself from your family, you will not survive if you do not have God. You must know that when you leave your family, when you leave the community, when you decide to go on a journey of a pilgrimage, when you decide to get into the journey of the wilderness, you will not survive unless you have God intact and close. And that is why we have Leviticus. That is why we have Leviticus. Now, Leviticus is the laws of sacrificial worship in the tabernacle. You know, at the Exodus is where you're supposed to be building your altar, your tabernacle, your place of worship. Because in Leviticus, the laws of sacrificial worship in the tabernacle, ritual purity, and other topics like agriculture, ethics, and holidays. Now in Leviticus is when you must learn how to stand on your own. After you've left Exodus is easy. You've left Exodus, you're like, oh, finally I have left slavery. What follows after slavery is making sure you stand on your own. And what makes you stand on your own? Levitical laws. What are Levitical laws? Rituals. What are rituals? The ability to imprint memory into every cell in your body. For example, let me just give you an example. You have left Egypt. You have left your home. You have left your excess. Everybody experiences this. You have left your excess because Egypt is X. You are going to get to a point where now there is no water. Your ex used to give you money. Now you are in the wilderness, no money. Your ex used to give you water, free food. Now you are in the wilderness, you have to make sure that you find your own food. If you do not ground yourself through rituals, you will want to go back to Egypt. If you do not ground yourself through rituals and say to yourself that, by the way, now we are here. We are now independent. We are now alone, and we must work together in order for us to get to Canaan. Canaan is your dreamland. It is your dream avatar. You must put yourself so close, because guess what? There are some Israelites that will start saying, why did you leave? Why did you leave him? At least he was giving us free food. And then right by there, when you start thinking like that, you forget the beatings. You forget the lack of freedom. Now you want to go back to to Egypt. Now you want to go back to your excess. Now you want to go back home. Why? Because you are not keeping a close communication between you and your God, between you and your body, between you and your Moses. When you get into the wilderness, your brain and your body must work close together. And in times when you feel like you're sliding, like you're about to fall back into the old patterns, ritualize. And in ritual, you can even beg your body, that please now, I feel like going back. I'm not lying to you, but please help me now. Help me not to go back. Those are the rituals that are necessary. That is what is necessary. Okay, somebody's asking, why didn't Moses, the brain, make it to the promised land? The child of Moses did. The descendants did. And this is also another projection altogether. It is another bearing. There are people who, their children are the ones who will make it to their own promised land. Like, for example, me, I am Swiri Nyar Kano. My promised land is, I want to become a CEO to a global company. And then I reach at a particular point in time and I'm like, oh, it is... Like the way I'm seeing things, it is not going to be possible for me to reach there. Guess who will reach? Your children. And this is the reason why even in the Levitical laws, they were encouraging Israelites to give birth. They were encouraging Israelites to give birth so that if you don't make it into the promised land, then your child does. And a lot of Israelites did not make it to the promised land, but their children did. It is my child. If I want to become a CEO of a global company and I don't make it, then I can pass that intention to my child. And they will make it on my behalf. If they don't make it, their daughter will. That is the continuation. That is the reason why a journey that was supposed to take Israelites 11 days took them 40 years. Because now descendants and everything. So also the journey from Egypt to Canaan, it will take you the amount of time that you want. It is you to dictate. It is upon you and your discipline. The level of discipline that you have is what will make you get to Canaan. Now, after the Levitical laws, we have Numbers. And this should tell you that whoever created us loves us so much. Because imagine having a marking scheme like this. When you are in after the Levitical laws, the rituals that help you navigate the wilderness, Numbers is still there as well. Numbers is wandering of the Israelites in the desert, census, rebellion, spies, and war interpassed with laws. Now, Numbers are the synchronicities that your ancestors leave behind. Remember, the ancestors, they speak in numbers. The universal language of this particular planet is in numbers. Numbers is the only language that everybody comprehends without translation. So, numbers, when you start seeing repeated numbers repeating, it is this is the language of the wilderness, guys. In the wilderness, nobody will come and tell you that, by the way, now we are approaching Canaan, we are almost there. No, it is through numbers, through the synchronicities of observing numbers, that you will know the direction that you're going. And so numbers is very essential. It is the language that you communicate with the ancestors without anybody else involved. It is a language that is just between you and your ancestors. And the moment they keep sending you the numbers, you always know that, oh, by the way, I am guided, I am protected. So, you know, whoever created us is not an inhuman being. Whoever created us left us with marking scheme that we're supposed to be using to navigate this particular planet, and know that you are not alone in your own navigation. Because every destiny has a period of the wilderness. If you have a destiny, you must be an Israelite. Israelites, they have destinies. They have a place they are going. Israelites, they have destinies. They have a place they are going. They have achievements they are going for. And so as long as you're an Israelite, know that every destiny has a period of the wilderness. It doesn't matter whether you are born to the president. It doesn't matter whether you are the child of the king. It doesn't matter whether you are born from the trenches. Every destiny has a period of the wilderness. After Numbers, now you get to Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy is the point of maturity. Maturity, because you are not meant to suffer on this particular planet until you die. You are meant to reach a point where you figure it out. If you follow the laws, of Moses, which have been indicated here in the 5 books, you are supposed to end up whole. Deuteronomy is the final speech of Moses to the Israelites, recalling the events of the desert. In Deuteronomy, in the point of your life in Deuteronomy, this is where you write books. This is where you write books and you publish them. Nowadays, we have people, somebody has not even reached 12. Somebody is not even 21 yet, and they're already writing a book as if their life is concluding. This point of Deuteronomy is the point where now you are supposed to be recalling Moses' final speech, recalling events of the desert, reviewing old laws. Introducing new ones, reviewing old laws and introducing new ones, and calling for the faithfulness of God. So today I just wanted to work with this. I just wanted us to sit and for you to know the first 5 books of the Old Testament that are the most important. And by now you know where your life is. By the time you read this Genesis, Leviticus, Deuteronomy, Numbers, and Exodus, you should know where your life is. Are you at a point of Genesis? Are you at a point of Genesis? Are you at Exodus? Where are you? Are you at Exodus? Are you at Leviticus? Where are you? Are you at Numbers? Where are you? Are you at Deuteronomy? Because literally this is your whole life. From age 1 up to the age you die. This is your whole life. Somebody at Numbers. Yeah, a lot of us, we are at Numbers. Personally, I would say I'm also at Numbers. You know, a lot of us, we are at Numbers. And know that we are also interconnected and quantumly entangled. So we are moving together, guys. When you see me sitting here, you think that my life is another story that you've never had. We are the same. We have the same story. We are moving in the same story. And we are so interconnected that when you excel in your own life story, I am excelling. When I excel in my own life story, you are excelling whether you are my enemy or not. We are here to work for the entire planet. We are here to work for the entire planet. Somebody is asking me at which age. Now, it depends. Like I told you, the journey from Egypt to Canaan was supposed to take 11 days, but it took 40 days. 40 years, 40 years. So it depends on you. Are you somebody who you make decisions? You know, there are people, like for example, right now in our world today, we have leaders who don't make decisions. And that's why we feel a sense of delay. The entire collective, we are feeling delay. We are not supposed to be dealing with Palestine issue year in, year out. How long? For how long are we going to deal with Palestine? For how many years are we going to deal with Congo, Sudan? For how many years? It reaches a certain point until we are like, the fuck? Whoever is in charge, do something. We are tired of hearing the same thing over and over again. Delay. Delay. And you can see it even with our leaders today. We have demonic leaders right now. Right now we have demonic leaders. It is people who are godly. But then I will tell you this for free. Astrological weather has changed. We are at a point where the people are angelic and the leaders are demonic. And especially the United Nations leaders, the European Union leaders, the G7 leaders, demonic leaders. Something that is supposed to take 2 days to resolve, they are taking 3 years with it. Why? Because they want to cause the delay. They don't want to leave these seats. They want to drag there as much as possible and stay there as much as possible. Because they know the moment they get out of those seats, they will go straight into the people's mouths. So if I was to say, Genesis is supposed to be from age 1 to 12. Exodus from age 12 to 24. Which there at Exodus is when you have Leviticus inside there, because all this is the journey of the wilderness. In there you have Numbers in there. So from the age, Genesis from the age 1 to 12, Exodus from ages 13 to 24, and then from 13 to 24, Deuteronomy, the brain is supposed to now be totally fixed. But then this is the cycle of the past. The past people, they had it. Like literally in Africa, you would be born with your age group. You would move together swiftly, reach Deuteronomy together, and build the world together. But then now we are at a point where now we don't know where we are, because we live in a world that is not organized. It is not orderly. They no longer care about age groups. They don't care about age sets. They don't care about the youth. They don't care about, innovation from the youth. They don't care about moving forward. They care about staying in the loop. So right now we even have 30-year-olds who have a brain of a 24-year-old. Right now we have 40-year-olds who have a brain of a 21-year-old. So we've been reshuffled. It is no longer forward. Hey, thank you so much, guys. Today you guys are not happy with me or what? Send me some fireworks. So really, yes, this is what it is. Life is supposed to be simple. Earth is a planet where we are supposed to be planting people. People come here, they get planted so that they make the earth a better place. They come here, they get planted, they make earth a better place. Until we came across albedo people. Albedo people started existing in the 16th century. They started existing in they did not start existing in the 16th century. They started existing in the 13th century. We came into contact with them in the 16th century. Right now we are in the 21st century, but look at the damage albedo has caused. Look at the amount of damage the albedo has caused to the planet. From 17th century. We came into contact in the 16th century. In the 17th century, they were already changing the spiritual laws of the planet. 18th century, they were already enslaving, changing laws, changing everything. But right now we are in the 21st century. Still, we are dealing with the same shit that was dealt with in the 16th century. But guess what? You cannot stop an ejaculation that is due. You cannot stop an ejaculation that is due. Somebody's asking me where that's the frequency of Jesus coming. In Genesis will tell you on the first day, God created what? On the second day, God created what? Like literally Genesis is telling you the astrology of Jesus, the astrology of the day, how you're supposed to use the day to maximize. This thing I teach my students here all the time. The same way on the first day, you use it to see. Monday, you use it to feel. It is the same story of creation. Because without using the day, you cannot create anything. God tells you that in Genesis. If you don't utilize the day, you cannot create anything. Nobody gets to my Father except through me. I am the way, the truth, and the light. Even God used the day to create. And the things that God used the day to create are the things you used to create even up to now. To create your own avatar. Yes, albedos came from the caves. They came from the caves, and right now, guys, go look at the albedo effect. On this planet, climate change is about albedo effect. The more white people we have on the planet, the more black people will feel uncomfortable on the planet. It's the same as the more patriarchs we have on the planet, the more matriarchs will feel uncomfortable on the planet. The patriarchs are always supposed to make a tiny strip of the collective. They are always supposed to be the minority. So the moment you have more patriarchs than matriarchs, the matriarchs become threatened. The more you have albedos, more than the melanated people, the melanated people start dying off due to uncomfortableness. It is the same. So right now we have the albedo effect that was put up in the 18th century, where they want the world to be more white. Because remember, we are interconnected. The moon and the sun are constantly communicating. Albedos are supposed to stay the minority on this particular planet. Yes, more boys, more war, more albedos, more throwing off of the world climate. The more albedos you have on the planet, the more world climate is thrown off. The more the world climate becomes thrown, and this is the reason why they wanted to conserve. You know, people, they want to conserve the whiteness so much, they don't want to mix with other people. You know, black people have never had problem mixing with other races because black is the dominant gene. The moment a black person mixes with anybody, that child is black. That child becomes black, the child of Nephthys. They become, yes, the Nephthys, but they become black. But then, we have imperialists. They're the ones ruling the world today. They don't like it when the world becomes black. Look at the albedo, man. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look at some of you might think I'm talking hate. Hate is there in your books. Hate is there in your education system. Hate is there in the plan for this particular planet. The plan was to erase all black people so that the planet would remain conducive to white people. Albedos, they don't care whether the planet is conducive to anybody else. As long as it is conducive to them, that's all. And they want the entire planet to be conducive to them. And the moment the planet is conducive to albedo, know that melanated people, you will not survive. And by conducive, I don't mean just climatically. I don't mean just geographically. I mean spiritually. Right now, we live in a world where spiritually, it is more conducive to the albedo, more than it is conducive to the melanated people. And who made those rules? They come from the Greeks. The Greeks ensured that spiritually the world is more conducive to the albedo. They passed it on to the Romans. Romans were here. They ensured the world is more conducive to the albedo. And right now we have the Vatican. The Vatican is making sure that the world, the spiritual weather is more conducive to the albedo. Where is the black? Where are the melanated people? Nobody gives a fuck about you. Why? Because you're God. Nobody will ever come to save you until you stand up and you see things for what they are and see that you are the one who is being erased. And when you realize you are the one who is being erased, all this, even the Vatican cannot stand without black people. The money that black people give the Vatican is more than the money Italy gives the Vatican. It is more than the money the Vatican City gives the Vatican. Because one thing, Europeans don't use their churches the same way black people do. And do you know, the Vatican, they don't have anywhere else they're getting money apart from the offerings that people remove. That 1 shillings. That 1 shillings that you remove in church, it goes up to the Vatican. And imagine 1 shilling from 54 countries. And then you wonder why the Vatican City is rich. All of them, they get rich out of money that is collected by the public. It is the public that is rich. It is the public that is rich. And you've seen even here on TikTok. It is always the public that is rich. That is why the European Union, they start wars in order to collect money. From who? From the public. The UN, they start war in order to collect money. From who? From the public. The public are the ones with the money. And so when you take your money to church, the Vatican, they're business-minded people. They're business-oriented. They make sure that all Catholic churches in the world, Catholic churches in China, Catholic churches in India, Catholic churches in Africa, they make sure all of them, they collect money and take it to the Vatican seat. You who is removing 1 bob, you think your money is little, but you don't know where it is going. You don't know how far that money will go. And you don't know how much it becomes when now everybody brings their one bob. So as an African, when you know that the Vatican is there to provide conducive environments for albedo people, and you are funding the albedo project, you are the one funding the albedo project, stop giving your money to the church and see. And this is the reason why I talk, Kenyans will show the world. Kenyans will show the world the power of the people. The power of people coming together to collect particular amounts of money to help their people that they see. When you take your money to the Vatican, it will never help you. You will never see who it is helping. It is helping to fund pedophiles. It is helping to fund pedophiles. It is helping to fund the Vatican. But then when you start channeling your money, channel your money where it is helping you. Give unto Caesar what belongs to Caesar. And give unto God what belongs to God. Do you know what belongs to Caesar? Whenever you go buy bread, you are giving unto Caesar. Whenever you are traveling, you are using the roads, public roads, you are giving unto Caesar. Whenever you are buying anything in your country, there is tax in that thing that you're buying, you're giving unto Caesar. That is enough, Caesar. Your purchasing power is enough gift to Caesar. And you give your mother some, you give your siblings some, a little bit. That is enough to Caesar. Because give unto Caesar what belongs to Caesar, and unto God what belongs to God means give unto your outside environment what belongs to your outside environment. And then give unto yourself what belongs to yourself. So you, when you're getting your salary, and you're busy giving unto Caesar, you've given your mother, you're still purchasing things that have been taxed, and still you're taking 10% in the church. The mathematics is not working for you. Give unto Caesar what belongs to Caesar. Outside authority. Caesar is the authority. Caesar is the reason we have roads. Caesar is the reason we have malls and supermarkets. Caesar is the reason we have a police station we can call. Caesar is the reason we live as a community. So when you give unto Caesar what belongs to Caesar, know that whenever you spend to honor government, you are giving unto Caesar what belongs to Caesar. The rest that is remaining, give unto God. Invest in your craft. Invest in yourself. Make sure you look the way you want to look. Because remember, you are building an avatar. That avatar will not get built without you intentionally putting energy into it. You must use money to build your avatar. You must use money to create opportunities for your avatar. And when you're calculating your salary every month, make sure that you give unto God what belongs to God. Majority. God is your board. Give unto God what belongs to God. And then, after you've given unto God what belongs to God, now give to Caesar. Give to Caesar now. What belongs to Caesar should not be that much. It's the tiniest bit of your salary. So you must know where your money goes, guys. Sunday, you can use it to take someone out of poverty in your environment. Because one thing about poverty, as long as you can walk outside and see poverty in your environment, know that it is in your subconscious. Your environment is you. Some people, you call yourself rich, but you come from homes where your uncle is poor as fuck. You come from bloodlines where everybody is poor but you and your family. You are still poor. As long as poverty is still lacking in the fences. As long as you are rich but a cousin of yours is still poverty. Know that you can tap into that anytime. It is still in your environment. How you kill poverty is communal. By making sure that nobody in your environment is suffering. But as long as there's somebody in your environment that is poor, some people, they call themselves rich, but they have uncles and aunties who are languishing in poverty. You are still poor. Poverty is still in the vicinity. Poverty is still in your vicinity as long as you can see it when you walk around. Because literally, as within, so without. Whatever you see outside is within. So as long as you can still see it, know it is there. And you can tap into it anytime. Go to places like Luxembourg. Places like Luxembourg, even public transportation is free. You don't pay to use matatus. You don't pay to use public transportation. Now that is wealth. When everybody is feeling okay, when everybody is not struggling with the minute minority things, that is when you are talking about wealth. And guess what? Europeans, they've ensured that they have communal wealth. It's only in Africa where they encourage individualized wealth. They encourage, you can come, get the European papers and then remove yourself from your village. After you've become rich, leave them poor people there. Now you come to Europe. Now you come live in Europe. Nonsense. As long as there is poverty within the bloodline, know that poverty is still looking at you through the windows. It is still looking at you through the windows. And Europeans, they've ensured, and the tricks they've used, guys, the tricks that Europeans have used. These people, they do you know that Europeans, they have countries that they own together? You will find that France is there, Italy is there, different countries are there, Switzerland is there. But then, they have a country that they own together. Like literally their wealth, they've hid it so much that when you attack Italy, you're still not attacking the wealth. When you attack France, you're still not attacking the wealth. They still have countries that they've put together, which France is the one owning it, with their friends. If Africans were to know the type of treachery that the Europeans use to ensure that they embezzle the wealth and keep it to themselves for centuries, you will get mad. You will get mad. Here in Africa, when you hear Uganda is a country on its own. But in Europe, you will find out that there's a country like now, Uganda, Tanzania, Kenya have come together. They have Ethiopia. Now Ethiopia belongs to Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania. By the time you're coming to attack Uganda, you think you're attacking Uganda and finishing Uganda, but you don't know that Ethiopia still belongs to Uganda. Yeah, and they own it through colonization. So Africans, you must wake up. You must wake up so that we go to where we are supposed to go. This generation, our generation, you must know it is different. We have a different generation that needs to wake up and see the way things are being run. And you don't even need to go fighting Europeans to get your bread and butter. You don't need to go fighting Europeans to build your empires. The only thing you need to do is unplug. Unplug. Africa should treat Europeans the same way an empath should treat a narcissist. Unplug, leave, and never look back. Because when you look back, you will turn into salt. If you don't want to turn into salt, unplug and never look back. Build in your villages. We have land over here in Africa. In Africa, we have 2 harvest seasons. We have 2 harvest seasons in Africa. We are favored even by the divine. We need to ensure we have food for our people. We need to ensure we have food for our people. Let's stop glamorizing KFC. Let's stop glamorizing Pizza Inn, McDonald's. Look at where the money is going. Currency, look at where the money is going. If we need a KFC here in Africa, let an African start their own KFC over here. That is how selfish we need to become. Because if we don't become that selfish, we will not go anywhere. Some people, you want President Ruto to bulldoze his way into change. The way the tricks have been put, the way there is so much chains, you cannot bulldoze your way into this shit. You need to start small. And this is why Africans, we have our biggest problem is poverty. We must start. Poverty is the ability to start from scratch. Poverty is there to test your ability to start from scratch. As Africans, we must be willing to start from scratch. We must be willing to start from scratch. Literally, me personally, I grew up seeing my mom feed us from the farm. We did not need food. Literally, we grew up poor, but food was always there. Why? Because my mom was always in the farm. And that is the culture that I am upholding even now. Right now that I have money, I can get money, my own. I will make sure that I have a truck for my mom. We will make sure that we have extra land. Now that we have money, we used to do that and we used to harvest so much, but it was out of poverty. Now that we know, we make sure that we plant so much. And that is what I'm currently even doing with my mother right now. But some people, you want to seem rich by going to aeroplanes, by boarding aeroplanes to Europe. That is how you want to be seen rich. As long as food is number one. Food is riches. Food is riches. And we have so much land in Africa that has been untouched. Lands that you can lease. Lands that you can do anything. Go farm. Farm. Guys, you can lack money, but as long as you have food, you will live your life. You will live your life like nobody's business. We have Bantu lands here. Right now, I'm sitting here. Opposite me is Bantu lands here. Very fertile lands. But they don't plant. They don't plant because why? Majority of Bantus are in the UK. Majority of Bantus are in the UK. In the UK, places where you wouldn't even have land to plant, and even if you have to plant one season and that's it. Anyway, someday we will change our definitions of abundance. Our definitions of abundance. One day we will change them. Because I know future billionaires are farmers. Farmers are the future billionaires. Farmers are the future billionaires. But watch out for certain euros buying our. They cannot buy all our land, my friend. Have you traveled in Africa? You know, some people, they act like Africa is almost being finished. Africa's population is currently growing so high because we have land here. Guys, have you traveled? Me personally, when I travel from Nairobi to Kisumu, literally there is land that nobody has touched. And it is everywhere in Africa. It is everywhere in Africa. And our population is the most growing right now. Guys, in the next 10 years or so, Africa will be having the highest population, the highest economy. Literally will be having the richest. Because you know what? Right now the African population is increasing, but there are also people like us who are teaching Africans the true spirituality. How to honor yourself, how to honor your ancestry, how to honor your identity and history. The moment people learn how to honor their identity and history, they love themselves. When they love themselves, they buy from themselves and their own people. And guess what? Black people are the compact majority on this particular planet. Meaning wealth is naturally on black people by default. But why don't we have the richest man in the world right now as a black person? Diversion by the Vatican. I won't even call it capitalism. Vatican. The Vatican is the one diverting Africans' money. The Vatican is the one diverting Africa's money. And the moment they stop diverting Africa's money, the richest man in the world is going to come from Africa again. Just the same way Mansa Musa was. Because that is the natural way. People with the highest population should have the richest money. They should have the most money. If you have the highest population by mathematics, simple mathematics, the highest population, highest amount of money. Highest population, highest amount of money. If you're living by the true God and you love your God and you are somebody who you love Africa, and Africans we are people who will love our things. It's only in Africa. I've never seen a European necklace with the shape of Europe. I've never seen a necklace with the shape of Asia. We only see, necklaces with the shape of Africa. Like literally Africans are lover people. We love our things. We love ourselves. That is the spirituality that is within us. When you remove the Vatican, that is who we are. When you remove the Vatican, that is who we are. And when we buy from each other and we are many, our money, our currency becomes the most. Our currency becomes the most. Right now, we are scattered everywhere. You will find Africans who they don't want to identify with Africa, them they don't want to identify with Europe. You will find Africans who them they don't want to identify with anybody, with Africa. They'd rather identify with anything else but Africa. And it shows even in how they dress. It shows in what they wear. But then we are moving away from there. We are headed to a place where now Africans will be happy to identify with Africans. And when we reach there, prepare to see money, generational wealth shift. And all these delays, they are delaying that. They are delaying the inevitable. They are acting like they are not seeing because they want us to also act like it is not real. so that at the end of the day, we don't get into this golden age for the African people. But no, you can only stop an ejaculation for so long until it is blah everywhere else. So my advice for you guys, because I'm finishing this life. Sorry, but what if the family doesn't want to be helped? They like poverty. So how do you build? Just leave people who don't want to be helped alone. Leave people who don't want to be helped alone. You go places where your help is received. Go to places where your help is received. I already talked about the solar eclipse. You guys want me to say that the world is going to stop. The world will not stop. The solar eclipse will come and go. Rituals, how to build our own. I posted a series about how to build your own altar, so you can check that out. Yes, leave Egypt alone. Somebody's asking me, I leave my family alone? Go ask the Israelites. If Egypt is oppressive to you, leave Egypt. You know, some of you come into your families and you think that family now is where your God starts and your God ends. We are all connected in this planet. When you trace back, we all come from the same parent. So at the end of the day, your family is like a school bus dropping you at school. Will you be dropped at school and then you stay in the school bus and be like, no, you know, me, I want to stay in the school bus. I want to just be in the school bus. I don't want to go. Your family is like a school bus. Get dropped and then go figure your way out. How Genesis helps us to build our avatar. Please repeat. Genesis is talking about, it is talking about the matriarchs and the patriarchs. What builds you? What builds you as an individual? For me to become Swiri Nyar Kano like this, 2 people had sex. Before those 2 people had sex, some 4 people had sex. Before those 4 people had sex, some 8 people had sex, and it goes back up to 4,000. In the 12 generations ago, I have 4,000 people who had sex for me to be here today. So Genesis is talking to you about that genealogy of the matriarchs and the patriarchs of your life. And you know those 4,000 people who had sex, you have their memories in your DNA. You have all of them stuck with you here in your DNA. So Genesis, from ages 1 to 12, you come into this particular dimension to figure out who are these 4,000 people who fucked for me to be here. And you will be figuring that out through your behavior, through the things you like, through the things you don't like. And then by the time age 12 is ending, you are now in age 13. You start to now purge. You start to say, oh, out of these 4,000 people who had sex to have me, I want to measure on this one. I want to measure on this one. No, this one I want to purge. No, this one I want to remove. Okay, I want to measure on this one. So that is what you do from ages 13 to 24. Just to ensure that you narrow down, you specialize. It's like a postgraduate. Undergraduate is you learning everything. Postgraduate is you specializing into a particular path. So that's what's happened. Yes. Anyway, guys, lives on Sunday, I never want to overdo them. I'm always just coming here to teach a little bit of the Bible. When I was starting this live, there are people who said they were not comprehending what I was talking about. I hope by now you are. Talk about Cain and Abel and the significance of the story. Cain killed Abel. Like literally the story of Cain and Abel, it is so visible in the life that we live today. There's a brother that killed the other, and then this brother got kicked out. The one that remained got kicked out of the garden. So literally, the story of Cain and Abel, and most of the time they tell us that, oh, black people are the descendants of who? Of Cain or Abel. They usually tell us that black people are the descendants of Cain or something, which is a story that is cooked. A story that is cooked. The story of Cain and Abel is just the story of 2 brothers. 2 brothers, Seth and Osiris. Seth kills Osiris, and then Seth is sent out into the wilderness. Osiris is vegetation, Seth is desert. Seth kills Osiris. Cain kills Abel, and then Cain is sent out into the wilderness. So because, to tell you that albedos are narcissistic individuals, they know very well that it is Cain, Seth, that kills and is sent out into the wilderness. But then they come and tell black people that, you know what, you are the descendants of Cain. You're the descendants of Cain. I don't even want to get into the confusion of that. Yes, Cain is exiled. The same way Seth is exiled. Look at it. Look at the story. The writings are always on the walls. We have Seth. Seth is the father of desert, the father of hate. Then we have Osiris. Osiris is the father of love and the father of vegetation. The father of hate and desert kills the father of love and vegetation. And then he's sent out into the wilderness. And then the wife of the vegetation, the wife of Osiris, which is Isis, gives birth to Horus. Isis gives birth to Horus for one reason: to come and avenge the father, to come and bring back Osiris. Osiris is the vegetation. So Horus comes to bring back Osiris. Set removes Horus's one eye. One eye of Horus is removed. How do you remove someone's eye? By telling them fake history. How do you remove someone's eye? By concealing the truth. Showing them lies to believe. The story is there and it is here with us. We know who Seth is, Seth, Cain. We know who they are. The albedos, the fathers of hate, the fathers of desert. Nothing grows where they live. The moment they set foot there, nothing grows. You know who those people are. Biology is biology. Yes, the writings are always on the walls. You know, the story of Cain and Abel is the story of Osiris. There is no Cain and Abel. It is Osiris, Isis. Osiris, Isis, Nephthys, Horus, Seth. Those are the main characters we are dealing with here. Seth is a hateful idiot. Seth is somebody who develops out of hate. Like literally, you see the way love, there's physical representation of love. The physical manifestation of love on our planet is the melanin. Melanated people. To become a melanated person, you are the physical manifestation of love. You are the physical manifestation of Osiris. Wherever you go, it grows. Wherever you go, green grows. Wherever you go, green grows. Children of hate, Seth. Children of desert. Wherever they go, nothing grows. Guys, look. Africans moved from West Africa into Americas. And literally, the vegetation moved with them. Black people are people who, where they are, vegetation flourish. Where melanated people are, vegetation flourish. Where they live becomes a desert. Where they live becomes a desert. So the writings are always on the walls. Just look at them and you will always see. So this Cain and Abel thing that they told us, you know, every one of us was growing up saying that, oh my God, me, I am the descendant of Cain, the one who killed the brother. Seth is the one that kills the brother. Desert is the one that kills vegetation. And then Isis gives back to Horus for Horus to restore Osiris. Know the story. Know the story. Know the story. Know the story. Telling us that we are the descendant of Cain was just something a narcissist will tell an empath. You know, a narcissist will always give you their own story. And literally, if you interacted with a narcissist, you will know that a narcissist will always think that your life is the one that is theirs, and then their life is the one that is yours. If you've never interacted with a true narcissist, you will not know this story of Osiris and Seth. A narcissist will always tell you that, oh my God, you are taking my life away. I have been with a narcissist who literally they kept telling me that, oh, all this clout that you're getting, all this attention that you're getting, that it is her, she's the one who is supposed to be having it. You people, if you've never dealt with a narcissist, your patience level is still not tested enough. Your patience level is still not tested enough. Me, I had a narcissist who used to tell me that I am the one who is living their life. I am the one now who is living their life there, and then their life that is dry as fuck, now that is mine. If you don't know a narcissist, you will never comprehend what Europeans are. You will never. Because a narcissist is hate in physical form. It is hate in hatred. The same way confidence exists in nature as the face of the lion. The same way intuition exists in nature as the face of the panther. It's the same way hate exists in nature as albedo. And it is the same way love exists in nature as melanated. See things the way they are. And you will see how life will be easy for you. Yes, and I think this is the end of me. Of my life. I wanted to do 1 hour, 30 minutes, but I've passed with 10 minutes. But this is the end. I'm currently dealing with one. They even demand you ask me. Yes! Guys, if you're dealing with a narcissist, one thing I will advise you, walk. Make walking in nature your number one best friend. Because literally love is what kills a narcissist. And do you know where love is in plenty? Is in plenty? Osiris. In nature. If you know you live with a narcissist, make sure every day you have an excuse to walk. Go take a walk. Go interact with the greens. Every single day. And you interacting with the greens will naturally help you to unscrew yourself from a narcissist. Because also you cannot just leave a narcissist. Leaving a narcissist, you must organize a prison break, my friend. Don't think you will just wake up and leave. Once a narcissist has their tail tied up around you, you must know that prison break is what is going to get you out of there. Prison break is what is going to get you out of there. You must organize your prison break properly. You must keep money aside. You must save money that they don't know you are saving. You must keep things aside. You must have friends that they don't know you have. And then organize. And then one day, poop, leave. But narcissists, you don't leave them through bulldozing your way. They will tear you apart. They will make sure that it is only carcasses of you that have left. So, also put that into consideration. Yes. Yeah, that's what it is. So, guys, yeah, this is the end of my life today on Sunday. As usual, I will come back again on Wednesday. But then I'm really hoping that they will make us start posting again on TikTok so that I can go back to posting. But then I'm not feeling bad about not being able to post at this particular point in time because it is hot. Me, they want, like, literally, they want to remove my account so bad that me, the way I dress, they want me to be removed out of TikTok because of the way I dress. You know why? Because I've not been posting lately. If I dare mention albedo in this weather, my account will be removed even without second thought. So when you see me moving slowly like this, guys, when you see me not posting, I am below the water, bear with me because we are at a difficult time here on TikTok. Literally, there are people who watch my account like a hawk, just waiting for me to mention albedo in a post, and then they go report it, and then they collect each other, report it, and then I'm removed. But guess what? We are working with the ancestors. We will always meander. Chini ya maji, yes, time ya chini ya maji and chini ya maji, guys. If I was posting the way I used to post right now in this particular weather, my account wouldn't be there. I wouldn't be here, oh. So, below the water, chini ya maji is also necessary. Because right now we have sensitivity. There is so much sensitivity. This TikTok, you see the one to remove TikTok. It is because of certain creators here. It is not because TikTok is taking data from anybody. It is because of certain creators on this app that this app want to be removed. The creators who are against albedo, the creators who are teaching people, the correct way of living. And we are those people. So we must also move slowly. When it is time to lay low, you lay low. When it is time, me personally, there's so many of my friends whose accounts went during this particular period of time. They wanted to remove TikTok in itself. So TikTok was like, certain creators, lay low, and then after it is over, they think we are gone. Is when we will now come out like we had never gone anywhere. We will come out like we had never gone anywhere. But for now, everything that I have, I'm going to be teaching them here. You need a backup account. I have a backup account, but it doesn't matter. Me, I need to get to a point where nobody is looking at me when I'm doing my shit. That is where I'm manifesting. I'm not manifesting to keep running from the bullets. For how long will you keep running from the bullets? I am manifesting a point where I don't want anybody looking at me on this particular app. Let only my people look at me. That's why I'm manifesting. I'm manifesting they leave us alone. We do our thing. And that's where we are getting. We will not keep running away from the bullets. For how long? For how long? For how long? No. Yes. So guys, thank you so much for being here. It's still 11:44. I have a class at 2 that I'm supposed to be preparing for. So thank you for coming here today. Today I just wanted to teach about that Deuteronomy Exodus part. And then next week we will go on with the Bible to have us comprehend it in a way that it is useful to us. What is albedo? Just Google albedo. Or just go and watch albedo effect somewhere. Albedo is the code that white people use to call themselves when there is climatic danger. Albedo is what white people call themselves when there is a climatic danger, so that we don't comprehend what they're trying to say. Do you post these sessions? No. I am just here with my students. I just don't want to do too much, guys. I don't want to overdo anything. As long as I'm alive, I believe everything that I teach is still here. I will repeat if necessary. But I just don't feel like doing certain things. I don't want to overdo. I don't want to give more than I receive. Also, so for now, just take what I'm giving. And that's it. Yeah. How do I join your classes? My classes are this one. You're joining right now. For now, just move with me the way we are moving here. There's so much coming in the future, guys. Life is so amazing. There's an astrological placement in the near future where life is just, people will be making posts. Right now, people are making posts of, I'm tired. This world should end now, but a time is coming when people will now be making posts like, oh my God, I wish my great-grandmother was here. Oh my God, I wish like my ancestors were here just to experience this with me. So hold on and keep speaking the truth. The truth has now moved, like the truth has removed its head so much that it cannot be hidden anymore. And now we are waiting for, the final reveal. We're waiting for the final reveal. And when you receive it, you will know in your own individual life. You will know your own final reveal. All of us were waiting for different things, but all of it is connected. So keep holding on and know that if you feel tired, we all feel tired. If you feel like there's so much delay in movement, that is what it is. There is two forces that are fighting. One is fighting to take over, and then one is fighting to remain. So, at the end of the day, the best team will win. And we know what the best team is. Hi, Swiri, please reduce intake of milk. Please reduce intake of milk, take more coconut. As in, I don't even take milk, guys. I do not even take milk. How did you know? I rarely use milk. Like literally, I'm not a fan of milk tea or whatever. Wherever I go, my ancestors follow and live with and through me. Yes. I'm feeling a heavy energy. Where? What's wrong? The dressing. I don't know. that person who is telling me to drink milk or whatever. One day, talk about the UN projects coming to Nairobi, Kenya. Okay, feeling drained. From what, my dear? What is making you like when you're feeling that drainness? The moment you tap into it, where is your mentality taking you? You can feel drained because you're broke. You can feel drained because someone is messing with you. Why are you feeling drained? Thank you guys so much. Goddess Anyango. Goddess Anyango, what is that you've posted? She said there would be a crossing of the eclipse that will culminate there. Blend and try it for a month. You will see different in health generally compared to milk. I don't know. Like when you say coconut, what coconut? Like I love coconuts, but I don't know which. Are you talking about the coconut water? Are you talking about what coconut are you talking about? Me, this coconut person is the one I'm talking to. I want to hear what they're saying. Signature. Oh, Signature is saying I blend the coconut. Blend and try it for a month. You will see. Okay, sour. Sour Signature. Signature, I will try blend coconut. That one I would. I love coconut so much. Like I would blend coconut. Oh, somebody's saying my tongue is like literally I have a white tongue. I have a tongue that, you see those tongue that they call sharp. My tongue is very sharp. Like my tongue has keratin. You see these things that make up the nails. And some people they do. Like when you Google, right now go and Google the tongue of a cat. Cats have a white tongue too, like sharp tongue that has keratin in it. So my tongue is very healthy, guys. I know some people, they look at me and you wish my mouth was dirty. I have a very clean mouth. Yeah, my tongue has spikes in it. Like I have a sharp tongue that can keep my tongue, and the writings are always on the walls, guys. You hear the way I talk. Me, I can cut you with my tongue. So literally my tongue is like that of a cat. My tongue is like that of a cat, sir. And I love it so much. I love it so much. So some people I know, they look at me and they're like, oh, how I wish she has a flaw. How I wish she has a flaw that I can bully her over. No. My tongue is a weapon. Look for something else. Maybe bully me with my nose or something. But my mouth, clean in J. You should see how I take care of my mouth. Because, my mouth is my gut health. It is my throat chakra. I cannot afford to have a foul mouth. Your nose is cute. Then look for something else, guys. If you want a flaw like you're like, oh, she's so perfect. She must have a flaw. She must have a flaw that I must bully. Look for it somewhere else. Look for it somewhere else. My mouth, my tongue, malisafi. Anyway, guys, thank you. Merci beaucoup. Dankeschön. Asanteni sana kwa kuja huku. Thoughts on phobia. I will talk about phobia another time. I'm tired right now. Let me just go and rest as I prepare. I love your earrings. Thank you. Anyway, guys, thank you and bye. Keep holding on. A change is coming. A change is coming. A change is coming. A change is